Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast where we something waterfalls with the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I guess I'm Pete Mulbert. I don't have anything to say.
I'm Gerald Christopher Porter.
I'm Mark Campbell. Oh, good Lord, sorry.
Oh, God. Right over the
right.
balls.
Exactly what I was
Okay.
I'm Jason. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome to you both.
And I'm
Welcome
Mark
back.
Campbell. Thank you.
You thought you could get away with only doing 2 waterfalls, but no. You're here.
Oh
for
my goodness. Let's go over. Let's do
Got
Yes,
my life
all right.
jacket on. Jeez.
Here we go. See if we survive. This is minute 91. And this begins with Indy counting a second waterfall, and it ends with them all back on land with Indy trying to get the steering wheel out of Marion's hands. And
Tommy.
I got to say, you have a question for me, Jerry.
Well,
I'm
you have
sorry.
to. Well. You began the minutes by saying something waterfall. Well, and I alluded to it. What does Indy say? He points, and what does he say?
He said, okay, I'll tell you, I'll answer your question. He says 2 because he's pointing to 2. This is the second waterfall coming up 2. But Harrison Ford, not even Indiana, Harrison Ford is in full Harrison Ford finger flap mode. Like he does that thing where he's like kind of like talking to somebody. He's got like maybe like 3.5 fingers out, and he's kind of like wagging his hand at you. Like it's supposed to be like a point, but it's like a real messed up weird thing, and it always creeps me out. And this is maybe the worst one.
I think of Richard Nixon when I think of that type of point.
You mean what does he do it in like regarding Henry or like?
I think he does it in there. I think he
like-
does it in Witness. I think he does it in like Frantic. I think it's like it's he's got the point. We all know the stern point.
Yes.
And this isn't that. This is like I think he does it like earlier in this movie, like when he's like talking to Marion, he's all flustered and stuff. Like, now, dear, that's not what I meant, and it's just kind of like a weird finger wag thing, like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's supposed to communicate, but it's weird.
Age.
Maybe, but he's been doing it since he was like 30.
Well, he has that the very authoritative finger point that you see in like Clear and Present Danger and Witness,
Of course,
and everything.
yeah.
And then and this is a very feeble old man, like, oh, look over there, kind of.
He's like water.
Stop getting ice cream on that man. Cut it out.
Enough.
Enough.
Hey, so have any of you guys been to Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
I was thinking of Niagara Falls, the last waterfall drop, definitely.
Yeah, okay, sure. And did you guys remember reading about the school teacher who went over the falls in a barrel?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
her name Annie Edson Taylor. It's in 1901. She became the first person to survive a trip over Niagara Falls in a barrel. That says her.
But she wasn't the first that did it. A bunch of people tried
Yeah,
it.
I think she was the first to survive. Right?
Yeah.
That was
They
like
tried and died.
sitting on the flagpole type, stunts people did back then, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Now, what's interesting is why in a barrel?
I never
Why-
understood
Yeah.
Why
that
a
either.
barrel? Because it floats and because you're like fully ensconced in it, I guess. Kind of
And
like
Yeah.
armor.
Did they think it protected from the rocks at the bottom?
Yeah, it's like a little a floaty suit of armor kind of thing. That
Oh,
Well,
okay.
they would say a barrel, but then they would have I remember there was an exhibit of like the different barrels that people would build,
Yes.
and it would be like a big metal. It was basically like a deep sea tank or something,
Like a
with,
capsule.
yeah,
Yes.
like a capsule. They
Yeah.
painted to look like a barrel or something. It was like, wait, that I could do that.
they
That was
wouldn't
a-
use
that was
like
in a space
actual like
capsule.
wooden barrels, like.
I think some people did, but then people were like, I don't know. It was like the opposite of like trying to climb Mount Everest or something. But they would they said like better and better gear for surviving going over the falls, to the point where you're like, well, that's not even like, do it naked with nothing, and then I'll be impressed. Like,
Well,
if you're
I
totally
remember
protecting yourself.
I remember watching, I think, a movie. There, one of the guys was a stuntman, I believe, and he went over the falls in a kayak.
Oh, see,
And
that's impressive.
well, I don't think he made it.
Still
That was
impressive.
part of the. I mean, but then I remember later there was like a young boy who fell out in the Niagara River, and he went over the falls in a life. He had a life
No, that was
jacket.
Superman 2. You're thinking of Superman.
Yeah,
2. It was a dumb kid just
Also,
goofing around.
it's worth pointing out that Iguazu Falls is substantially taller than Niagara Falls
Really?
as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's less realistic now.
That is
Yeah.
interesting though. Like, where is that line? I think we sort of came to the conclusion that we gave the minecart jump and landing perfectly. We gave that a pass. And like, that like action heroes are not human beings, that like they can they can get punched repeatedly in the head and they're just fine, or they get shot and they just shake it off. But like, what is the like? I don't buy people going over these 3 waterfalls
Well,
and being totally
Yeah.
fine.
well, what about where do you stand on Temple of Doom when they're in the after the plane crashes and they're sledding down the mountain on the raft?
Yeah, I
How do
was
they go down
thinking
a
that during
waterfall?
this, yeah.
And that.
Nah, you
But-
know,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
I buy
funny?
that more though.
This-
I don't know.
Yeah.
I am going to say this is the dumbest of all Indiana Jones minecart drop, like
Yeah.
raft over the over the mountain.
That could be.
Jump out of the plane, land on the snow, and
More than the nuking
sled
the
down.
fridge.
I think much
I'm
dumber
gonna say
than
more
nuking the
nuking. Yeah,
fridge.
dumber than nuking
Yeah.
the fridge. Yes.
At least that sequence was like really exciting and cool and weird, and you're like, I don't know, maybe survive.
You know what it is?
fridge.
It's the
All of
third
those-
one. There's something about. Okay, it's tough. The fridge is pretty bizarre because he like flies out of the city, which is kind of strange. That's a little bit strange about the fridge. I like that it's lead lined, but he does fly out of the city, like past the Jeep or whatever, and that's a little bit bizarre. But these waterfalls, especially the third one, like you see everybody fall out.
Yeah.
You see the Jeep hovering over 2 of them.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get smashed.
And not
Like,
only
it is
that,
not-
the Jeep the duck is smashed on the rocks at the end of the minute.
Yeah.
Maybe the only explanation
Yeah.
is that this is like, maybe this really is Han Solo's fever dream, and it doesn't have to make sense.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say there was that moment where it may have been last week where Indy does say full reverse.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I expected Marion to
Yeah.
go, whoa.
Marion, lock in the auxiliary power.
Yeah, and she doesn't.
She
Lock
takes
in the
her time.
This
auxiliary
is another
power.
like gorgeous shot. It looks like it's from the mission though, where when they go over the second waterfall, you hear them yelling, and then all of a sudden you cut to a long shot, and their yelling is much quieter. And I think that's a really like almost majestic shot. That's a
That
gorgeous
is great.
piece of filmmaking.
It
Yeah.
is.
I want this to work better, because the third, when they do the second one, they all climb back in, they're all exhausted, and they just kind of go 3. And then you see that last, obviously the biggest and scariest and most majestic waterfall. You want that to be a successful thing that your favorite movie maker, Steven Spielberg, has done. And it's so inherently stupid that it's hard to really enjoy it.
I think what would have saved this is, and they probably would have done this in the other 3, is they should have killed Mac off in this one on that drop. That
Yeah, I
that would have
agree.
saved it. I think.
Something.
I'm
the red
gonna
shirt. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb over the falls here. I'm thinking that what is keeping them alive is the skull.
The skull.
Yeah,
That only
Oh,
takes you so far.
I know. I know. But I can't think of. First of all, Ox is going over 3 waterfalls and he still has the skull, right?
Yeah.
What is a
He's
skull like
devoted.
Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior? That would protect you?
I think we're kind of maybe. I think there might be some people who would like, I don't know, write in on the crusade or something, and on our listeners group and say no, the skull, it all the ants avoided it. It is a supernatural thing.
Is the water
we have to
avoiding
allow. I don't. Yeah,
Gravity
I don't know.
avoids
It's
it,
kind of
I
it's
guess.
a Yahweh alley oop, but with an alien skull.
That makes more sense than
I mean, that's the
anything
best I
else.
can do. That makes the most sense. You wouldn't have a waterfall like this where everybody jumps, they fall out of the
Yeah.
duck and they land, and the actual duck is upside down and destroyed. And they're all fine. You hear them cough a little bit, like, "Oh boy,
That was
that last
rough.
one was
Yeah.
a doozy."
My hair is messed up.
Yeah,
That's what sucks, though, is that there isn't really any difference between 3 waterfalls. Like, they,
Right.
like there's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like any of them is more dangerous than any of the others.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess Marion's a little shell shocked, but that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, but
That could just be from Indy yelling at her.
Yeah. You didn't appreciate my tree stunt at all, that bastard. I have some, to me, is exciting news. Exciting realization as I see everybody stumbling out of the water onto the dry land. In minute 73, which aired on August 2nd, this whole truck sequence started. Like, we had Marion and Mutt and Indy in the back of a truck. And to my mind, that's the beginning of this entire sequence of like them having an argument. They kick Devchenko. Indy takes control of the truck. He blows up the tree cutting truck. They start a big chase. The chase has like a sword fight in it. They crash. They fight some ants. They fight. Devchenko gets eaten up. They go down the waterfalls and everything. And that was this whole like 18-minute segment of like this kind of extent. On paper, it's cool. On paper, it's like the Blues Brothers or something. It just keeps on going to like the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and just mayhem. And it doesn't feel that way at all. It feels like, oh my God, thank Jesus they got out of the water. Oh my God, this sequence is over. Like we can, maybe there'll be something to talk about now. Like maybe we can get our minds around something and enjoy parts of this movie or something. Like, there have been parts of this chase that I've enjoyed and stuff, I guess, right? I don't know. I think we've had fun talking about it, but it's shocking to me how long and unfulfilling this entire just melee has been of action.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that's my little speech. Although, okay, no, my speech ends with a little quiz. In 1981, they made a movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark. It had maybe one of the most famous chases in the world in it. In the truck chase in Cairo. Quick, around the table, how many minutes long was that chase?
3.
wow.
Jerry?
Wait a minute. Which chase? Which
The
chase?
truck chase. The
You
truck
mean
chase in
and
Raiders.
where he gets on the white stallion and then he
Yeah.
gets on the truck and then they get
from the
arc
stallion to the guys dancing in front of the Bantu wind. Basically.
Oh my gosh! Hey, that's what a great question. Hang on a minute.
Don't overthink
I'd say
it.
7.
5.
Pizza 7.
I'm gonna
Jason
no.
says
I'm gonna
5.
go. It's longer than that. I'm gonna go 11.
It is exactly 7 minutes long.
Are you
Nice.
kidding me?
Nice.
Yeah.
You mean with the guy smiling and he punching him off the cliff?
Yep. All of that.
And
7 minutes. Minutes
You're-
83 to 90.
Is that including Scarecrow Toad?
That is, that actually includes Scarecrow Toad. Yeah, because I'm counting to like whatever minute has the guy. Oh yeah, they're like dancing in front of like the Bantu wind and Sala introduced.
Wow,
the-
that's 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Even with the bad Nazi dad.
yeah, all of it.
Wow.
God, that's a good movie.
Wow.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
You
so
guys seen
good.
Raiders? It's so good.
Yeah. I missed that one actually. What
you
happens
should,
with it?
I really recommend it. Harrison Ford's in it. It's good.
You know what's funny? I see so much of that, like the guy doing the sideways somersault, and then like the tire rolling over that one guy, and you just see his legs fly up in a Pilates. It's like a Pilates move.
You should do your Pilates in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And this, I couldn't tell you a single thing that we just watched.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a single. I guess maybe a tree going.
It's weird how unmemorable all of this
Yeah.
is. Like, I don't know what it is about it that makes it not memorable.
It's just as memorable as the score of John Williams in this movie, I think. Because that's okay. I mean, little sidebar here. That's really one of my big things with this film is I cannot remember any piece of music John Williams did for this thing.
I can't really either.
And I've
Pete,
seen
you
this
bring
movie
up stuff
5 or
every
6
once in a while,
times.
but-
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Look, this is the part of the movie or part of our podcast where people kept asking, "Are you guys going to do Crystal Skull?" And I feel like it was our own 3 times. 3 times it goes down. Like we were afraid of this part of the movie, and we started we began Crystal Skull. We were hesitant. We were also pleasantly surprised. Our Mutt Watch has been, clear skies.
Love the Mutt
Yeah.
Watch. Love the
Yeah,
Mutt
I've
Watch.
had no problem with Mutt in this film.
I
at
think
all.
that's great.
Yeah.
I think he's a good character, and Shia LaBeouf plays him well. He's great.
We've had a lot of, there was a trepidation when we started, but I guess this is just, if we sound kind of down and negative, this is our own waterfall that we've gone over. And I don't know if we'll fare as well as our heroes, but I guess we just knew this was coming. There's going to be a patch of this movie that we're all going to be like, this is silly and annoying.
Yeah,
And that's
this is
just
a long
where we're
patch.
Oh, you're not even at the end yet. Oh my goodness.
No. But I'm so excited to see though that something different is about to happen. Like some
Sure.
kind of difference.
Sure.
There might be dialogue or something now that we can talk about and hang on to.
So where did the movie lose you? Because Jason and I've had this conversation, and we think everything until they get on the plane, Mutt and Indy and the motorcycle.
Oh, that's really close. I think
Yeah.
I think I've said on this show that I was with it until they kind of went into. I was expecting to not like it after they got to like Sleepy Hollow and we're fighting those weird skull mask guys, and about to go to the place where they find the skull. But I actually liked some more stuff after, like when they until they found the skull. I was kind of on board. It felt kind of Raiders-y, and then Mac picked him up and took him back to the jungle and the Russian tent, and they were in that tent for about 7 years. And yeah, ever since then, I've had a really hard time.
Yeah.
What about you, Jerry?
Things got strange around Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know why they're there. Who those guys were? It didn't fit. Where the landscape didn't make sense. We don't know why he's fighting those people. They're not. I guess they're kind of like a Kazim. They're they're kind of like some Kazim character, I guess, that's trying to protect the sky. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were. I mean, we did like when he holds the skull up and he goes, "What is this?"
Yeah.
That was cool,
like that.
but
There
we
are
didn't
some
know.
good parts
You know.
and all of that, and the
Yeah.
I like the set design. I like the adventure of going into a tomb, but it really adds up to not much in the end.
It's
Right.
it's so confusing.
It is.
That does not help.
But it was interesting. Like for me, that was fine. Like it was kind of surreal and it kind of didn't always make sense, but at least it was entertaining and interesting. But this lost me completely when they got to the tent.
Yeah.
Is this
We're
school
talking
still
about, like-
magnetic? Does anyone know that? Does it lose its magnetic
It
powers?
doesn't appear to be. No.
Well, this Ox has a necklace on. He's putting a necklace on. And is the skull attached to the necklace, or is he just also wearing a necklace?
Oh, weird.
It's like he's in New Orleans with
I
beads.
was wondering-
Like it's weird.
Is the skull like if Ox hangs onto the skull and the skull's magnetic, then would it be permanently attached to the duck?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's how oxygen
That's why. That's why they bounce. That's why.
That's why they all bounce out of the way.
Yeah.
Like you could put the skull on as a hood ornament.
You know what? I think you saved the movie.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
I kind of wonder. I mean, it sucks that
Crystal
it's
clear.
smooth. It would be a little hard to keep, get a good grip on it.
Well, he's
but
got that bag. He could be holding onto the bag that's around the skull.
I
guess.
assume the skull is just permanently attached to the duck somehow. And as
Yeah.
long as
It's the only explanation.
except they all fly out at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like we should, what do we say as Mark, Jason, you two, like, what do we say? I know there are people who really do like this movie and they're down on us for being so down on the movie. And I don't blame them. It's got to be hard to listen to after a while. I don't know what to say
for
to
many reasons.
Okay. Well, for this movie, for me, like I liked it very much the first couple times I saw it, and I thought it was the weaker of the series, but I thought it was very good. And for some reason, I mean, obviously the George Lucas connection, I thought, oh, it's much better than the Star Wars prequels.
Mhm.
Those are apples and oranges. but watching it more and more, and just seeing the flaws that you can't really sweep under the rug. It's not a terrible movie. to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not very good. And also the whole thing with the aliens, that never bothered me. Mutt never bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the story and how they get there and how it's presented. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
I would say that when I saw this, my heart didn't sink when I left the theater as much as some of the or all of the prequels, I would say.
Mhm.
But yeah, apples and oranges. I do have to say, I watched it last week. I watched the whole thing all the way through one more time, and I kind of found myself enjoying it, but I think mostly because I could look around on the screen and watch things as opposed to focus on the story and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it was more like as if I was doing homework or studying, I guess. But
And also Harrison Ford, I think he actually looks excited to be here and puts in a performance. I like him in this.
Yeah, I think he's really good. in this.
Yeah.
would we be as hard on this movie if it was some, if everything was happening, but it was a Brendan Fraser romp or something like
No, I
that?
don't
No,
think
Yeah,
we
that's the
we,
thing.
we, we,
Yeah.
we-
I think
This
it'd be
was-
I think it'd be a fine movie.
Yeah,
if
if this
that
was
were
the
case.
Mummy 4, I would be all along for it. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
expect a little more from our Indiana Jones, don't we?
And
Yeah.
Spielberg too, you know.
Did this one did this come out right before Christmas?
It
No,
came
this
out
is
in the summer of
in
In the
8.
summer. All right. So
Yeah.
look, I assume that if you're the type of person and you're showing up to this movie, and you're like, hey, great, there's a new Indiana Jones movie out, and it's going to be filled with frolicking adventure, and it's the summer, and I'm going to leave all sort of, I don't know what's it could do, leave all, I'm going to suspend my disbelief.
Mhm.
And I'm going to put that down where the popcorn maker is. And I'm going to go in here and it's going to be air conditioned and I'm just going to have a romping good time. Then I suppose you could have fun at the movie.
Mhm.
So, I mean, to which I assume there's all sorts of audience members are like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? That's what I do when I
Yeah.
go to see a movie.
Just have fun. You're not there.
Yeah,
to
just have
study
fun.
stuff
Stop
and
thinking
figure
about
it out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I-
go over Waterfall. Big deal.
I part of me when I watch this and when I hear people like, I remember there was Jerry, one episode you were in a 7-Eleven and you were asking the clerk, what their favorite movie, Indiana Jones movie was. The last one. And I feel a little bit spoiled
Oh, yeah.
being, I think, you guys, Jason's about 15 years younger and the rest of us are all about the same age. But I think we lived through a time when we experienced things like, that magic of like, 81 through 85
Yeah.
at the movies and Raiders,
Mhm.
it's just like to the people going to the multiplex watching this thinking, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh, if only you could have seen Raiders on the big screen. Let's see that.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harder for us. I think part of the problem is over the years we've endowed so much meaning and our own identity on Raiders of the Lost Ark and the movies that came before it. So when this one comes along, we are expecting so much and we're putting so much of ourselves into it when it's not what we want to be representing us. It's kind of like, oh,
As the young pup of the group, I just gotta say, you grandpas gotta just let it go.
Maybe.
No.
No, I'm in total agreement with everything you guys are saying.
Well,
I think we are on tape. I think we're on tape on the show. Actual physical magnetic tape. That's what we record the show with. And then the first minutes of this season, I think each of us said, you know what, I kind of like this movie. I'm surprised that I kind of like this movie.
I still kind of like it.
I think
feel
I
the
do
same.
too. I
1
think
minute.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
glad to be done with this entire sequence because it got to be
Yeah.
a real slog and it was hard to talk about every week. And now there'll be some new stuff to hate.
Just because nothing happened, like just
Yeah.
for weeks on end, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff going on, but it's nothing you can really get into.
I mean,
Right.
is this really the end of it all? Because they might take a little breather, but you're getting right back in the action very soon.
That's kind of what I remember. I absolutely forget what happens in the rest of this movie, but I remember lots of running
I'm
and stuff.
the existential crisis I'm having is Raiders is the outlier.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and
It's weird.
so I'm showing up. I don't shave. I have an 11 o'clock shadow for my life. I want to be an archaeologist. I want to be like Indiana Jones, but I'm realizing like my version of Indiana Jones, Raiders, is that's sort of the exception when you take the
Mhm.
franchise altogether. Which is,
Yeah.
most of it's a frolicking, romping, semi Land of the Lost summer Pepsi can time.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
the all the sequels, or
I'm talking if you add up 4 Indiana Jones movies and what they are, what they represent, the treatment of those movies, and I talk about Raiders is gritty and it's more serious, and they have there's scenes of connection. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
just even Marion and Indy on the Bantu win, the fact that he falls asleep and she goes
Yeah.
like, doesn't seem we can ever get a break or something like that. You know what I mean? There's just
yeah,
moments that you can sink your teeth into.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and
they
there's
feel genuine too.
they feel
Oh,
genuine. And I think, unfortunately, again, this is my existential challenge, is that my favorite moments or the tenor that I of the franchise that I enjoy the most and align with is the exception.
And I think Raiders was maybe the last. I haven't thought about this that hard, but it might be the last of those very first of these summer blockbusters that came out before they got kind of codified. Like Return of the Jedi is kind of like a watered down Star Wars, and like I don't know, like what came out. All the other summer, like even Temple of Doom is kind of like, oh, let's do this with an Indiana, like take that Indiana Jones guy from Raiders and put him in this kind of movie and stuff. Like you knew what to expect from a summer blockbuster after a certain point, and that's when those later movies were made, including this one.
right.
But like Raiders was like, let's make this. It was like those guys, Spielberg and Lucas, were like, let's make this cool movie about this guy and do this. And like, they're not really thinking about like, oh, this is what summer blockbusters do. Like,
Right.
we haven't. There aren't rules for that yet. Like later on, like right after this, we figured out the
Yeah,
rules and they
that's
started
good.
making movies.
Well, the
based on that.
classic case of this is, like Jaws, where you're like, oh my gosh, incredible movie. You can take it. Each scene could be a short story. Like,
Mhm.
it's just that incredible. And then by the time you get to Jaws 3, it's in 3D. I can't remember if it's Jaws 3 or Jaws 4. When the shark finally comes out at the end, he yells. He's like, "You motherfucker!" Like the shark yells.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just like, how far this has come from just this original great movie where they weren't thinking about how much money we're going to make and how bad at, like, is Jaws going to wear like a spiked collar, and like, how's he going to he's going to show up on a motorcycle, and we're going to play bad to the bone. And it's just
Yeah.
like, come
I see
on,
that.
man. That's like Terminator versus Terminator 2 and George Thorogood's blaring through the script. There's no George Thorogood in the first Terminator.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right,
it's
yeah,
just
A lot less self-aware.
you know.
You're saying, kind of.
Yeah. It's a lot of response to Raiders, but it's not answering it right or something.
well, and so we talk. Are there movies? I would say Fury Road, as we said. Fury Road
Yeah.
is way further down the line from Road Warrior or Mad Max, and it still has it kept the tenor of those movies. I think they just have a trajectory where they naturally, that they I guess they jettison whatever seriousness the original shows up with.
And I think they were less inspired than somebody like George Miller or something. I think they
Yeah.
were just like, oh, let's do another one, I guess. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no one
And,
was
like,
asking for another Mad Max film, and George Miller just wanted to make one for himself,
Right.
really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how
But
you do it.
does Fury Road have Marion holding a steering wheel in it? Breaking down.
Oh my god.
Well, it's close. Yeah.
Why is she like that anyway?
I
Why
don't
is
know,
she-
because it's
That's-
silly.
she's
It's
in-
cartoonish.
All right.
See, that's to me, it's the opposite. It's kind of a weird moment where it gets too realistic. Like it seems like it's hard to tell when it's being slapstick and when it's like she's experiencing a state of shock.
That's yeah.
To me, it feels like that was like an idea like maybe she came up with on set. I don't know this for sure, but that feels like an actor thing. Just like this would be fun to do
me,
this
because it doesn't go anywhere.
To me,
no,
it felt to me like something that would have been in Saving Private Ryan, like on the Normandy beach scene. Like it's like a very,
but it's
like,
played for laughs. This is definitely all played for laughs.
It is
this
played
whole
for laughs,
sequence
yeah.
played for laughs. It really is. And like I think I mentioned, the last waterfall. I think I mentioned on the last episode a week ago. It feels like a week ago at least. The third waterfall. You can do a comparison of when Indy goes off the cliff in Last Crusade, where it's like a serious moment or something that there's some weight and gravity to this whole situation, which they don't do. And I really think if you want to do something with this scene and make it just not a goof fest, is maybe the thought that his son could have been dead and he could have relived the Sean Connery moment from the Last Crusade almost.
Yeah. Let them go like a few minutes thinking somebody's dead. Like Mutt got washed away down the river and they cook, they meet up with him later, but they spend some time. Oh my God, why did we go over those waterfalls? Somebody got killed.
Yeah, they could have done something, but it's played off for laughs and on to the next exciting scene, I guess.
Yeah. There's really, are we ever nervous for any of these characters?
No.
Right. And that's why when you have Marion, like, quote, in a state of shock, and he's like, babe, you're like, come on.
Babe.
You don't need to.
Honey, babe.
This is, you know what? This is putting fun and big screen movie summer adventure before the movie. And you go,
definitely.
Oh, okay. All right. Again, that's just their choice. They know what they're doing, so that's what they wanted to do. And you go, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel kind of like Marion Ravenwood right now. I mean,
I know, we're all shaking.
Well, let me ask you guys. So they go over the waterfall. Everybody always yells. Is there anyone who didn't yell?
Did Ox yell?
No.
Yeah, you think Oxley yelled?
Did Oxley yell, or because they show Oxley come up at the last minute here, and he's sort of laughing maniacally a little bit. Yeah,
he could have been like, "No hands." He's like,
he's a nasty blood.
Right.
He knew the skull would protect them, so
I guess so. The blissful idiot.
Well, I guess luckily for you guys, Tom, this whole sequence is coming to an end, so you have something new to look forward to. Was there's just going to be flying saucers and aliens everywhere.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh, there's a natives chasing them too, like out of Raiders.
That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like Raiders of the Lost Ark. That should be great.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride.
If you give it 2 seconds of thought, it doesn't really make any sense, any of this. But
I don't know what you mean. I'm just not tracking what.
Well, making plenty of sense.
Yeah.
To conclude the show, yes, coming in over the wire. That's my favorite part. This is in from Professor Christy Porter. Would it be safer to try and stay in the car or out of the car as you fall?
In the car?
I don't know.
That's a really good question.
Safer out of the car.
The car is like a big tortoise shell. It's like you're gonna if you're out of the car, you'd fall on rocks and all that stuff.
True.
But aren't you absolutely going to hit the inside of the car if you're fall in the car?
If you hit the inside of the car.
Well, if you have your seatbelt on, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what's weird is the very first one they go over, it's like they plunge down into the water, and it seems like they all stay in their seats, and then the duck pops up like Herbie Robinson, and it just is sort of like a inflatable duck that pops up. And it's like they were all fine by staying
right next to it.
In the car.
I think that Marion might have saved everybody because she's holding the steering wheel, but I think that she, pre Ralph Nader, she did know that the steering column on this thing could impale any one of them. So I think she actually removed the wheel just as a precaution, and she was still holding it when the car landed. Yeah.
Well, it has I think it has a symbolic ring. She's still driving.
See?
Yeah.
Maybe for the rest of the movie, we need to watch that for the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Maybe she's still
Vroom,
in the
vroom.
driver's seat.
Still, no matter what, she's not going to let these goons take her superpower, which is she's a fantastic driver. She's still at the helm.
So she belongs in a Fast and the Furious movie, pretty much.
Right.
That's her super.
But wait, seriously, when did she get that steering wheel? Because they all fell out of the duck on the way down.
They all fell out. It's upside
Did she
down.
go back and get it?
She went
No,
back.
it went off with her, I think.
Maybe.
She wanted a souvenir from this experience. I
What a
think.
badly made duck. My goodness.
German cars.
Eh.
Wait, I'm actually
Oh, it's
looking
Russian.
to see
Never mind.
when they do it. Hang on. Do all of them fall?
I think so.
Um,
Mhm.
Oh, you see 4?
I'm looking.
Oh, they
Oh.
do. You see 5. All of them fall.
Yeah.
There's
She
5
just
people
ripped
who
out the steering
fall.
wheel before
Yeah,
she
she
went out.
ripped out the steering wheel. It's
was
a
good.
beautiful, beautiful shot.
The
It
the
is,
the
yeah.
water pressure alone would have ripped them to shreds, wouldn't it?
You would think so.
That's a lot of water.
Well,
on
that
top
and there's
of
the, there's like whirlpools, there's rocks, there's all sorts
No,
of
but
stuff.
Jason, they landed at the
Piranhas?
sound stage. It's a lot safer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were ready
And
for him.
It
Yeah.
looks. I mean, I'm reviewing the footage right now. The water looks really shallow, very close to where the waterfall drops too.
Right, yeah, they're walking out of there. Yeah. That all makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so last tangent. So why after all this talks, why do we not believe this more than anything else in Indiana Jones?
See, that's what I can't quite get my head around.
I
Like,
know why. I know why.
Okay,
This
what?
is really, really just lazy. It's one of the laziest things I've seen in an Indiana Jones movie. It's just lazy.
It
No,
is a little like they don't understand their own franchise. Like,
Well, it's
oh,
like they
Indiana
don't
Jones, he's that
understand-
guy who does really exciting stuff. Let's throw him over 3 waterfalls. That'll be fun. But then you're like, wait, hey, hold on, guys.
It
That's
doesn't
not-
mean
you
it
know,
doesn't mean
he's
anything.
not even hurt.
It doesn't mean anything.
You're
It
right.
wouldn't matter. Like if there was 1, that would have been fine. If there was 2, that would have been fine. I mean, not fine. It just would. It doesn't matter that there's 3. It doesn't
It could have
matter.
been a dozen, right? It could have been.
You know what I get nostalgic for, and I look at these behind the scenes shots of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg out in the desert. They're wearing, shorts that are too short, maybe not even wearing a shirt, and
Yeah.
they're all out there and they're in the desert and they're like scheming and planning, like, how are we going to do this? Where are we going to put the camera? This is going to be great. We're going to do this, and they accomplish it. And then this
Yeah.
one, it's just like, yeah, let's have them drop 3 times over a
Yeah.
cliff. And
Are we done yet?
And
Yeah.
you see
Well,
Stephen and George, in Video Village with their coffee and looking very comfortable.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And they're
just
like,
like
one of
somebody
them
goes-
saying, how about they go over a waterfall? And then the other goes,
Exactly.
how about 3 waterfalls?
Falls. And then, so what happened? No, did they stay in that? Yeah, they go over it, but they have that sort of amphibious vehicle, so it works.
Yeah. And
You
he's
go, oh,
Indiana
okay.
Jones, so it'll be
Yeah, we'll
fine.
do it all in
Yeah.
post.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
go, but we'll film it beautifully.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like we should apologize to people. I feel
Nah.
bad. I mean, I feel absolutely just in exactly how exhausted and annoyed I am right now. But
Oh, we've said nice things about the movie.
we
too.
have said nice things all along the way, and I hope you guys have had fun.
we have.
I've had a
Okay.
great time.
Excellent. So have we. I like talking about this stuff. I like doing this show. Damn it. I don't care if the movie's annoying me. And listen, next week is going to be great, right? It's going to be like a whole new thing. This whole sequence is done. Now we're going to go to something else, and it's going to be just incredible. It's going to be really good.
I'm glad we're cut loose after the waterfalls. Thank you.
All right. We still
I
have
gotta
to
go
listen.
towel off now. Man.
Yes, well, we've got hot towels and things waiting for you just through there. But first, everybody, thank you for listening. Mark and Jason, thank you so much for joining us for 3 weeks. We hope you have a great time next week, whatever
Yeah.
you're doing. And
Thank
everybody, please come back and join us as we find out what happens to our drenched heroes on their continuing adventure in minute 92 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Babe.
Babe, you okay, babe?
You okay, babe?
Babe.
She doesn't know who he's talking to. She's never called
Pete,
him
have you
babe before.
ever called a significant other babe?
No. I mean, unless I were dating Babe Ruth, I don't think I would ever call someone Babe.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do.